Alright guys, welcome back to another video on my channel. In today's video, I'm going to talk about the end game of Season 3. The 6 teams that I'm using for, what is this called? Fight against the Eye of the Deep. Okay, so this is the end game boss for Season 3. This boss is going to last for 7 days. And this is the second day of this boss opening. They're like 20 minutes away from daily reset. I'm able to do like number 3 on my server. Like the first place, this guy's a huge whale, the biggest whale I've ever seen. He told me he dropped like 100,000 US dollars into the game. Nobody else is gonna be able to compete with that guy. So I'm number 3. I think that's good enough. But I would say like this boss is just harder, much harder than Season 1 and Season 2. And this boss is like purely single target. I'm gonna show you guys the 6 teams I'm using for this boss, and like the difference between this boss and the 2 endgame boss for previous season is that this boss is purely single target, and the mechanics that this boss does kind of reduce your damage output, because he has this like a damage reduction. Like every time you use a skill, you use the skill against this boss, his damage is gonna be reduced by 5%. So what you're gonna do is like, you're gonna like, assuming you have multiple DPS champion, you're always gonna set your highest DPS champion to go first, right? So they don't take this 5% less damage. Yeah, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 skills in total, so it's 30 seconds interval. I did watch some other content creators making guide video about this boss. I do see what other people were doing is when they set up skill timer on this boss, what they do is they always set it to 30 seconds, like including the DPS champion, because on every 30 seconds the boss is gonna take 30% increased damage. Increased damage taken by 200%. Right? They always set it like this. But what I found is like, if I just set it to be like 20 seconds, for some reason I did more damage if I just forget about this 200% increase. Right? That's just what I did. I don't know if I can show it from here. So anyways, like the main mechanic of this boss is every 30 seconds, you will have to use a champion that can give your whole team a buff. Okay? You can, some of the support champion like Celia and a lot of rally supporter champion, they should be able to give your whole team a buff. And champion like Laurenthio, the rally legendary champion, that champion can actually also give your entire team a buff, right? It doesn't really have to be a support champion. But I will say like there are very limited number of champions in this game that can do that. It has to be everybody. Well, it doesn't have to be everybody, but I will say at least all your DPS champion at 30 seconds mark, they need to have a buff, right? Yeah, and then I did watch some other content creator making teams. They usually put 3 DPS and 1 support champion. But what I realized is when you are building your team, if you have a strong enough healer, you can definitely do 1 support champion with 4 DPS champion. I think you can definitely achieve that. Alright, 1 DPS with 4 support. Okay, so I can't do it here, but I can show you the challenge record. So I did build 6 teams. Alright, most of them, I think all of them can reach 200 million mark, which is the maximum damage. And all the damage beyond 200 million mark is going to be reduced by 90%. So it's going to be much tougher. But I would say for people that have Rook, the most broken champion for Season 3, you could probably hit 300 million easily, right? So having Rook for this boss is a huge plus. I don't have Rook. And the sad thing is, there are 2 affinities, like the 2 element, the entire 2 element that is not usable on my account for this boss. Alright, if you take a look at my team here, there are 2 elements that are missing. The first one is Frost. unfortunately, the ice element is completely missing. I just can't do 200 million with that affinity. And the other one is necrosis. I'm gonna talk about these two affinities. Alright, these two affinities is completely missing. Alright, I'm gonna show you guys my champion roster for these two affinities. Like, I have most of the good champions. For Frost, I have all the Frost legendary character, but you guys all know, like, Frost is a AoE. It's an AoE mechanic pretty much. Like, you're just not going to hit 200 million. Like, I did try putting 4 Frost legendaries into the same team. They cannot do 200 million. And then I did try Ice Blast. I have the Ice Blast exclusive champion, this guy. I don't have the exclusive artifact, but I am missing the other 2 Ice Blast legendary. So I cannot. I did try to mix Frost and Ice Blast. I tried Lysania, Oster, pairing with Beldel and another Ice Blast Epic. I couldn't hit 200 million. The maximum I could do is like 150 million. So I would say, like, you will need to have at least 2 Ice Blast legendary. Like, not these two, the ones I'm missing, not these two together. You have to have Beldel and another Ice Blast legendary to even have a chance to hit 200 million. Alright, like, I mean, this affinity overall is very good. They have very good healer, very good support. It's just the damage is lacking a little bit. Like, with Frost alone, you're not gonna hit 200 million. That's just how it is. Right? With Beldel, you might have a chance, but he won't be able to do it alone. You need another legendary champion. And then for Necrosis, Summon, I'll probably make another dedicated video talking about Summon. Summon team is horrible. It's completely unusable in this scenario. I have every single Summon legendary except Lewanis. But I don't think Lewanis is gonna make that huge of a difference, to be honest. I tried every Summon legendary combo. They are just far away. Very, very far away from 200 million. And the problem of Necrosis and Lightning, yeah, these two are together this season, is that they are missing a good healer. I know Torin is a good healer, but for Necrosis, that's basically it. Alright, Torin is the only support across Necrosis and Lightning that can solo heal your team. And he can bring a buff to everybody, that's good. Without Torin, you will need 2 support champion. The other thing I was using is I did use this champion here, Estella. Estella is okay this season. She's actually okay. She does a lot of healing. But the problem is, if you use Estella, you need another support because she doesn't do buff. Right? You need another support that can bring buff to your team. So that's gonna take 2 spots. You can only have 3 DPS spot if you use 2 support champion. For most of my team, I use 1 healer and 4 DPS. So yeah, Summon is not usable. I'll probably make a dedicated video talking about this. I think Summon mechanic needs to be completely reworked. It's not working right now. And as for Shadow, I think Shadow has huge potential, but I don't have Ozu. If you guys have Ozu with his exclusive artifact, let me know if he can do that. Let me know if a Shadow team can hit 200 million. I think they might be able to be honest. I think they can. But I can't use it. So that just leaves me with 4 affinities. I have to make 6 teams using 4 affinities only. So the first team, pretty straightforward. I'm using actually the first team is not that straightforward. I'm using a mixed team. I'm using Acelia, Thalandor with 3 wild champion. Right? I was thinking making 2 Raleigh team. But I mean, I just think all the Raleigh epic champion is not that good. Right? It doesn't do enough damage. All the Raleigh epic. So I was thinking, like, why don't I just put some a wild character here? So I have these like super inspired wild character. They do a lot of damage, right? For my first team, I think Thalandor was doing like 35%. He does the most, and Thalandor, he works great by his own. He works great by his own. Yeah, this ultimate deals a lot of damage, and if you have like exclusive artifact on him, like it's always gonna trigger rally. So you don't really need any other rally support champion to go with Landor. That's a good thing. Landor works really well by himself. Then you can put 3 DPS, like 3 wild DPS there. Like these 3 does like 20% damage overall for each. So these 3 consist of 60% of damage, and Landor is like 40% damage. Alright, the second team. This is the team I was talking about. I'm using Estella as my main healer, and I'm using another support champion. This guy, Nathan. Nathan, he can do a AoE buff, AoE defense up for my whole team. So for this team, yeah, I think for this team, this is the only team like I am a tiny bit away from 200 million. For Nastjenka, I just got this champion like a couple weeks ago. Without exclusive artifact, I don't think she is the best Dauntless champion in the game. For me, I think the best Dauntless champion is this guy here. This guy does tons of damage. Evalois, right? His damage is like 60 to 70% more than Nastjenka. But I know Nastjenka here doesn't have exclusive artifact. Maybe exclusive artifact is a game changer for her, but I just don't have it. And then I'm using this epic Dauntless champion because I think I built like 2 Dauntless team. This guy is the second best epic character for Dauntless. That's why I'm using him. And he has this multi-hit, so I can use this Witch's Remain. Right, this team is my weakest team. It's working, right? It's working. Alright, the third team is a wild team. Pretty straightforward. I am only using 1 support. I think Gillian, she doesn't do as much healing as Acelia, to be honest. That's why I have to use Everlasting Diamond, this legendary artifact. You can get it from Season 2's some event. I don't remember, but you can get it from Season 2. This is gonna increase your healing like crazy, right? So I'm using these 3. The wild team is pretty standard team, and then I'm using this epic character because I'm going to use 4 DPS champion with 1 support. I think she is the best, second best wild epic character. This girl here, Foley. All right. Team number 4. Again, pretty straightforward. I'm using a poison team. This was my main Vortex team back in Season 2. I'm just using Lothiar. Lothiar does crazy amount of damage. I have very good gear. Over 500 enlightenment on Lothiar. He does crazy damage. And I am using Verosh as my support. And the good thing about Verosh is he can use Witch's Remain. So you don't need Twitch to put your defense penalty debuff. So you can build like damage on your Twitch. Look at this enlightenment. Close to 550. So Twitch does like 25%, while Lothiar does like 70% of damage. Alright, then team number 5 is gonna be another Dauntless team. This was what I was talking about. I was using Turing. He was really the only viable healer, like solo healer. You can use 4 DPS to pair with him. Yeah, I have to use this artifact, otherwise his healing lacks a little bit. I don't think he's like a top tier healer. So yeah, I'm using 4 DPS. I think this character is absolutely insane. Like on this team, on my team number 5, this epic character is doing the second most amount of damage. The highest amount of damage is going to be Theribo. The second highest damage is gonna be this guy, Chalatar. Crazy damage. I think as a melee character, this is always going to have maximum effect, because if you take a look at the, I can't show it here, but if you look at the boss position, the boss is actually really far away. So this is always going to have the maximum effect, I believe. And he does tons of damage, right? Theribo also does tons of damage. I have very good gear on him. And yeah, that's my team number 4. And then team number 5. This is the team I'm doing the most amount of damage. 212 million damage. Yeah, that's the highest amongst all my 6 teams. It's just the best rally team you can build. It's pretty standard. And one thing that really surprised me is Mithracia. She can actually solo heal the entire team. I really didn't expect that, to be honest. I really did not expect that. I never thought she's gonna be such an amazing healer. I always thought she's just a resurrection healer, right? That's her signature move, to resurrect everybody. But she can actually solo heal an entire team, 5-man team, and she is the only healer on my team. And she can actually do that. Everybody stays alive, like this. Alright. Yeah, I'm using Filto, crazy amount of crit damage. Look at this. Look at this crit damage. Crazy amount of crit damage. And for this guy, Laurenthiel, I'm actually using this set. So I'm positioning Laurenthiel in the middle. Like this set is all allies around the warrior gets the defense up. 15% of target defense. Everybody can get like 400 defense from this set. So it's good. It helps my survivability because like this healer is not as strong as Acelia, but it's enough to keep everybody alive. And then Alton and Huberg, so crazy amount of damage. Huberg also has good gear, but I can say like Filto's damage is like 50% more than Huberg with the gear I'm using. Obviously Filto has better gear, right? Like the last team, crazy damage. Alright, so next maybe I can show you guys, is there anywhere I can show you guys the timing? Let me see. Let's just go there. Just gonna show you guys the timing. Okay. Here, 16 I made. So yeah, for rally team, everybody is gonna do 15 seconds because Laurenthiel is gonna recharge everybody's ultimate energy by 25%. So my second lightning team, I just go with 20 seconds because lightning team, I think it's a very consistent damage output. You don't really need to, you're not going to have a burst of damage within that 6 seconds window. That's just how it is. That's why I just set it 20 seconds. Same thing, second rally team. For Estella, like because she doesn't really do any buffs, like I just have her use her skill whenever it's ready. So she can do a lot of healing. For somebody that can do buff on your team, you have to set it to 30.5 for the skill to work. It has to be at 30.5 unless you can do like debuff removal. Alright, then the poison team, I just set it to 20 seconds. I think it works great. Because set it to like 20 seconds each, it will also take effect every 2 rounds, like on boss. When boss is at fragile, right? And the ice team, this is the thing I was talking about. I didn't use this team, but I actually have it here. It's just not working. Like the maximum damage this team can do is like 150 mil, and that's it. For fire team just does tons of damage. Like this is an amazing team. And for my second rally team, this is not really a rally team. It's rather like a mix. I have 1 rally character with 3 wild character, and this team does very decent damage. And amongst all these 3 character, wild character, the Casper here actually is the top damage. I don't know if it's a surprise or not. Or maybe because my Felicity is using Witcher's Remain, so she sacrificed a lot of her stats. But amongst these 3 wild character, Casper is doing the most amount of damage. Alright, so that's it. That's the overview of 6 teams I'm using for the Otherworld Exploration endgame boss. Alright, so currently I'm number 4. I guess I'll stay number 4. The reward I will be getting is it's good enough, right? 18 hello dices. That's gonna be it. More videos to come about I'll maybe make a showcase video about summon team. I have all the legendary summon character completely max inspiration and it's not working. So sad, right? Alright guys, hope you guys find this video useful and I'll see you guys in a video soon. Bye.